These are my thoughts on the movie Midsommar. If you haven't seen the movie, there's going to be spoilers. It's in the name of the page, so keep scrolling. If you have, here are my thoughts. This is the first movie by this director, Ari Aster, that I've seen, but I've heard nothing but good things. The runtime is pretty long for a horror movie, and I felt myself checking how much time was left, but that doesn't mean it wasn't good. I just became impatient to find out what's going on. Right off the bat, the writer did a good job setting up Dani as a vulnerable target for a cult. You can see she has issues regulating her emotions and keeps depending upon her boyfriend Christian, who is basically checked out of the relationship for emotional support. When Dani loses her entire family, Christian reluctantly consoles her, but that whole situation is just another nail in the coffin mentally for Dani. You can tell by the dialogue about Sweden between Dani and Christian that she's afraid to make him mad and have him leave her. She's emotionally dependent upon him. Christian doesn't give a shit about her and is egged on by his friends. To summarize their relationship, she's emotionally dependent and he's emotionally unavailable. He's not giving her what she needs. Another setup for future events. Ugh, can't talk. Their Swedish friend, I forgot his name, is pretty smart, and he picks up on this early on, encouraging Dani to come on the trip. He's constantly dropping subtle hints to Dani to isolate her from Christian and bring her over to the cult. I don't know what else to call it. It's a cult. He does it in a way where it's not pushy or obvious at all. The elders sacrificing themselves, the director does a good job of showing how this traumatizes Dani further. I believe they let Dani become May Queen to make her feel seen and important for once. This is exactly the delusion these types of groups, cults, gangs, people, groups who do dumb shit, etc. They provide to people. A warped sense of belonging and feeling important because they aren't getting that in their normal life. It's also important to note that the use of mushrooms to control and coerce people is tactfully used throughout the movie. The cult then orchestrates a scenario where Christian cheats on Dani and allows for her to catch him in the act. This further pushes her over the edge and makes her feel like she has absolutely nothing. If you notice throughout the movie, if people are dying or emotionally distressed, the group joins in on their pain. This is impactful to Dani. When she runs away crying after catching Christian, the girls cry with her and share in her pain. Again, she feels validated and heard. When it comes to sacrificing people and have Christian sacrificed, Dani is emotionally numb. She experienced back-to-back trauma and is in a drugged-up daze. The transformation by the cult is complete at this point. They warped her mind to consciously make a decision to kill her boyfriend. You see her smile at the end as she's basically given in and cracked and become part of their twisted mindset, as it's the only stability that she has left in her life. That's what I took away from it. Other than that, the cinematography is the best I've ever seen, probably. The contrast of it being daylight with horrific things happening in bright colors was unique and added to the story. A lot of the deaths happen off screen, which allows for the violence to not be in your face all the time. The ending was strange in regard to the sacrifices, but I've seen similar artistic style deaths in the Hannibal TV series. I would say people on social media hype this movie up a lot with how disturbing and crazy it was. I found it to be a good movie, but I was in no way shocked by anything. Once I realized that they were in a cult in the middle of some weird situation, I assumed a bunch of weird things were going to happen. I'd give this movie an 8 out of 10. If I were to describe the movie, I would say it's an artistic horror movie.